Through the term, there have been a number of projects assigned to us as tasks, with different restrictions and caveats for each. For each of these projects, I sought to approach them in my own personal way, which focuses on the creative process. I much prefer creating my work out of pieces already before me and combining them in editing software, like I'm putting together a jigsaw puzzle, except the jigsaw puzzle has many different ways of fitting together. There were a few tasks that required us to obtain our own footage and or audio, and while I feel that I was adequate in what I produced from those tasks, such as our Foley task, where I produced a soundscape of my own design with sounds recorded from around my area, and used editing techniques to twist the sound to fit my needs. While I did enjoy that task, along with the others, such as our narrative photography, our choreography, and our stop motion tasks, they didn't allow me to approach them in the way that I usually work. The first task where I was able to truly use this approach was our narrative poster, which allowed us to combine both images we had taken ourselves and images from the internet to create a poster, which we would later finalise in InDesign in a work session. As you can see, I chose to use entirely third-party images taken from the internet. I combined them with my knowledge of Photoshop to produce a site that, to my knowledge, is not possible on Earth. As I already had prior knowledge of Photoshop, I was eager to begin, and I spent a great deal of time ensuring that the fine details of my image were accurate, such as the tinting of the sand and the overall lighting and shadows. The second task that allowed me to utilise my own approach was, as the name suggests, do what you do, which gave free rein to produce whatever we wanted as long as it adhered to an Aesop's fable. This meant we could produce music, video, posters, whatever we felt like. I chose to produce a rant-style video similar to those on YouTube, but instead of ranting about a topic, I would read out my own version of the tale of the goose and the golden egg. Ignoring how aggressive and ridiculous geese can be, he inspected it to see that in its nest was an egg, seemingly comprised of gold. Dude led him to visit the goose every day, dancing around the vicious attacks to acquire the golden eggs and selling them for fat stacks. This reading was accompanied by relevant images that I chose to add emphasis and hopefully humour to the rather dry script I had prepared, and while my audio recording was hampered by technical difficulties and a loud computer, I was able to procure all of my images from the internet, once again allowing me to produce the kind of content I wanted without the hindrance of my own amateurish camera work. The video itself was also purposely edited to seem amateurish, but that was a conscious decision, I swear. The third project that allowed my jigsaw-like approach was our radio play task, wherein we would create an incident in a radio play. This incident could be anything from someone dropping their keys on the floor, to a chase sequence, to a descent into madness. Our only restriction was that we could not use more than 5 words of dialogue for the entire piece. I was able to break this restriction by creating a scenario that required very few words, and what few words were used were very impulsive. I created an incident in which our protagonist is running from something. A nebulous force, a squad of goons, their own shadow, whatever it is. It causes our protagonist to run and clamber over a fence, onto a highway. After some brief car dodging, our protagonist is finally struck by a car. And the scene ends. While admittedly dark, I was only able to create this scenario due to the many sounds available online, and I would not have been able to record such things myself without serious risk of injury. I thoroughly enjoyed piecing the scene together with the many sounds I heard collected, and due to the freedom of being able to add anything else I found online, I was able to create something that I believe can grab the interest of most people. This project wasn't completely free rein, however, as it did require some sound effects to be recorded personally. Due to this, I chose to record some of my own footsteps, as well as the dialogue heard in the piece, and I simply overlaid the footsteps with others so they wouldn't sound out of place. All of these projects have allowed me to test myself and utilise my own approach to content creation by piecing together assets and creating something bigger than the sum of its parts. Thank you for watching.